Hey everybody, it is Stacy here, and we are ready for another edition of Pageantry Now. I have the amazing Regine. She's coming on. She was Mrs. Canada, or sorry, Mrs. Galaxy Southern Canada 2022. I should probably know how to say that by this point. And I'm so excited to have her on. She's been a guest before, but I really want to be able to share her journey as she quests for Mrs. Galaxy 2022, I think, or 2023. Anyways, stay with us right here on Pageantry Now. Hi everyone, Stacy here. Happy to have all of you. I hope you're having a great week. Pageantry Now is all about positivity and pageantry and being able to highlight the amazing things that title holders do using a crown and a sash. And I've got an amazing queen on. I'm excited to have her on and share her story. Regine's been on the show before. I've been on her show. So we really want to be able to highlight her as she gets ready to leave for the United States. She's going to Texas to Mrs. Galaxy in like 5 days, which is crazy. Finally, anyways, we're gonna hear her story. Just please be part of the conversation. If you would like to ask her questions, ask comments, bring your friends, go tell them to come and join us. Please do. We really appreciate that. We want you to be involved, but just make sure you keep it PC because we do have teenagers that watch. And I think that's everything. Let's get this thing going. Here we go.
Hi. We are so in sync. I love that we both waved.
I know, we both did. Oh, look at Diana's in the house. Yay!
Hi, Diana.
Oh, you want her ex job, right? Ooh, I should ask you that question. Ooh, okay. So, legacy queen here. Okay, so I'm going to put us out like this so we can be full. But before we do that, do me a favor. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and anything else you want to share with us.
Yeah, of course. So, hello, everyone. My name is Regine Semira. I am your Mrs. Galaxy Southern Canada 2022. I'd like to say my intro is I'm an event coordinator by day, pageant girl by night. I've been competing in pageants since 2010. I started in local pageants here within the Filipino Canadian community, competed in the Philippines, made my way through different systems like Miss Earth Canada. I tried out for Miss Universe Canada. I took a break a little bit and ended up getting out of retirement. I was literally in retirement for 2 years and then found Galaxy, the Canada Galaxy system, where Cindy brought it to Toronto in 2018. I signed up. I tried for Ms. Galaxy Canada and I ended up becoming first runner-up. Came back again. I won the title of Ms. Galaxy Canada, and of course with the pandemic, things got a little shifted, hence why Stacy said, finally making my way to Texas in just a couple of days as Mrs. Galaxy Southern Canada 2022. So it's been a journey. It's been amazing, and I'm just so happy to be here. Thanks, Stacy.
Mabuhay!
Yes, to all those in the Philippines watching, hello, mabuhay.
Mabuhay! Yeah, people are always like, you talk to people in the Philippines? I'm like, do you not know what pageantry is in the Philippines?
It's our Olympics. And I think I said that the last time I was here. It is our Olympics in the Philippines.
I had somebody the other day go, wait, what was it was somebody, one of my husband's friends overheard a conversation. I was getting ready to do a show. And he said, what does your wife do? And he's like, oh, she just competes in pageants. It was before crowning Saturday night. And he goes, wait, what?
It's like, what's a pageant?
And then he asked me, he said, because he was talking they were on computer. And he goes, so what's like the biggest feed that you've ever had, like people watched? And I was like, when I interviewed Miss Universe 2018, Catriona Gray, and we had 150,000 people watching live from the Philippines.
That's insane. The Philippines, they love pageantry and they will do anything and everything for whoever is representing their country at any pageant stage. It's crazy.
All right, so we have to make sure that all of your Filipino family are like with the flags and going, Regine, Regine.
Well, actually, yesterday I just posted on my Instagram account. I did a photo shoot with Scott Dion Brown recently, and I purposely wanted to wear a traditional Filipiniana dress, but holding the Canadian flag to show that I am a proud Filipina Canadian. I am Canadian, I am Filipina, and it took a while for me to truly embrace that. And I'm here representing all those other girls who wanted to be or want to be in my shoes and can be one day.
I love it. I love the pictures. I was like, oh man, that's so cool.
Thank you.
So I know I've asked the question, but I feel like it is religious that in following in true Filipina history, it's her story.
Mhm.
But do you like frogs?
I don't like frogs. I am terrified of all animals. I don't know what it is. I like them from a distance, or I prefer them as cartoon characters. Like, I'm a huge Disney princess at heart, and I love Pixar. So those type of animals, I'm good with. Real animals, they freak me out.
Fair enough. I mean, then the reason I say in Filipina history is the first person I asked that to is Pia Warspa.
Mhm.
And for those of you who don't know who it is, look it up. Um, I always say that's the Miss Universe nobody will forget.
And the first Miss Universe people probably knew of.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I was there, so it was like crazy. Like that was my first my reporting by myself on the red carpet at Miss Universe. So
Yes. I
and,
remember you telling us that story. But technically you weren't there when it happened, if you think
yeah,
about it. You
I mean,
probably weren't.
I heard it called, and then I took off, and then I was like, oh wait, what happened? So for anybody's don't know, I was in the audience when in Miss Universe 2015, and I was in the second row, had these amazing seats. They called the winner as Columbia. I was in media, so I immediately jumped up to go to the media room so that I could interview the new Miss Universe. And when I got to the media room, we had a different Miss
Surprise!
Universe.
Things happen, and it's funny because it's the same thing with these types of shows, right? Like, your virtual interviews, anything can happen. Anyone can just jump in and you're like, oh, hello. So,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
there's
So
no
what
edits here.
exactly, because it's live and people I don't think of it as being anxious anymore because I'm just like whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Mhm.
But like, what's the craziest thing that's happened with pageant sit down or with sit down with Scott? Because Scott, that adds a whole different level of energy.
Yes, yes. So thank you for mentioning that. I realize I did not mention this in my intro. So I do host the pageant sit down, which came from the sit down with Scott Dion Brown, where on the sit down with Scott, we do interview artists, beauty queens, musicians, actors, actresses from all around the world now, thanks to COVID. But for the pageant sit down, it's similar to pageantry now. I kind of got inspired by Stacey, actually, to sit down and interview beauty queens from all over the world to allow them a platform where they can showcase who they are. Because I do not like the idea that beauty queens are just a pretty face. I know we all have our own stories, and I wanted to give them a platform for them to share their stories and who they are. But to answer your question, Stacey, I totally ignored it.
You did. I
I'm
actually
sorry.
you're doing justice because you're giving the prequel to it. So
I apologize. No, so I think one of the most interesting things that happened during a virtual call. Oh, there's so many. Every show is different. I mean, when I first started the pageant sit down, all the technical difficulties that could happen, I've had them where the picture froze, but the audio was working. The audio wasn't working, but the picture was working. There was a lag. I've had all of those. But I think the most interesting one actually was on the sit down with Scott Dion Browner. We had I think it was the first time we were on Twitch, or one of the first times we were streaming on Twitch, and someone had shared our video, and all these random people came out of nowhere, and just their comments that we're both sitting there looking at each other with our guests, and we're like, what is happening? We're like, did we get spammed? Like, we had no idea what was going on. And it was just, that was, I think, the first time where we got a taste of virtual shows
crazy.
and virtual followers.
Yeah, that when I interviewed Catriona, she shared it before we went live. And
Ooh.
the Miss Universe organization had never done a Facebook Live interview. So that was like the
Mhm.
first time. They didn't know how to do it. So I was trying to walk them through it. And so it showed up as somebody else's name instead of Miss Universe, but Catriona went on and said, I'm live on pageantry now. And it was like bam. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is not happening to me right now. And yeah, and then in the early days, if you go back and you watch early pageantry nows, before we had guests like regularly, I did a lot of just sitting and talking and trying and doing, pretend interview and all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
And at one point, my husband got locked out of the house, and I generally look amazing from here up, but I wear my pajamas. And we're talking like 2016, so it wasn't
Mhm.
like pandemic. It's just,
This is what you did. Yeah.
and so he pounded on the window from outside, and I jumped up, and I like, every horror film you ever see where they go, "Don't go to the light, just don't do
Mhm.
it." What do? I immediately go, "Hi, can I help you?" And my
Wait,
beautiful
while you're on air?
was on. There's a meme about
I need to find it. I'm gonna go through your old. You said 2016. I'm gonna go find it.
2016. It was one of the funniest moments. And then all of my followers at that point, we were on You Now, and all of my follow I mean, we probably had 5 or 600 people watching, and they were all like, "So Stacy's that girl in the horror movie that goes, 'Hi, I'm over here. Come and get me with the chainsaw.'"
But imagine if that wasn't your husband and it was someone who was
I know.
going to kill you. I mean, at least you had viewers there
You
to
are
be like,
so
I know what happened.
Oh my god, no, I just can't even. But my friend, they were, but and then the worst part, of course, was that I was in my pajamas, so I stood up, and so
You know
I
what?
don't
We're all following you, right? So you're trending. You started the trend of only dress up from the top up.
know.
There you go.
You got just look beautiful. Well, honestly, like there are so many videos out there of people that were doing business calls during the pandemic that clearly were were rocking it.
Mm-hmm. At least you had pants on.
True that.
Could have been worse.
All right, so let's talk about Galaxy. Let's talk about the areas of competition, why you chose Galaxy, because like you said, you have done other systems, and this really, um, once you caught the Galaxy bug, it resonated with you. So let's talk
Mhm.
about why you chose Galaxy and the areas of competition, and then how you're feeling about getting ready to get on an airplane and go to Texas.
Yeah, so I guess the first part, why Galaxy? So I've been friends with Cindy with an S, the national director of Canada Galaxy, since 2016. We actually competed together, and that's how I met her. And seeing her do Galaxy the year before she brought it to Canada, I was like, wait a minute, there's such thing as a Ms. pageant. I thought it ended at Miss. Like I was that person that thought, pageants end at 27. I'm done. Like let's try Miss Universe Canada once. That's where I'm going to finish my pageant career. And seeing Cindy compete again, I was just like, okay, I need to know more about what the heck is a Ms. division and what is Ms. Galaxy. So I did my research and I saw the diversity and the women that compete, the different divisions of women competing. And that is something that I didn't realize I was looking for. I didn't realize I was looking for a system that was so inclusive, that was so accepting of everyone. And so I was like, you know what? Let's try Canada Galaxy. Let's see what happens. And I signed up. And like you said, yes, there is this bug. And I was telling Cindy that there is something about the sisterhood that comes through Galaxy, whether it be Canada, UK, Portugal, Australia, that you don't realize or you don't know how to explain it. You just experience it and you feel it. And that's something I'm really looking forward to is having been a part of the Ms. division for 2 years and then moving to the Misses. I've had a chance to connect with all these women from all over well, I can't speak all over the world. And I'm just so excited to meet everyone, every single one of them. In terms of the divisions or I just had COVID, so my brain is a little bit loopy. My
Girl,
apologies.
yeah, no, don't apologize. And I know I'm sorry because I know you're still recovering, and you
So
gotta like try to be, how do we stay focused? And so
I don't even know. I didn't even know what COVID brain was until I had it. But anyways,
it's
areas,
real.
it
It
is
is
real.
so real. And I had it when I had it in January. I probably had COVID brain for like 6 weeks. So I ended up having a stroke. The Yeah, no one knows, in the middle of February, and we think that it was actually COVID related. Luckily, there was no permanent damage, but like what you're feeling is so normal. So
Mhm.
I'm sorry that you're going through it, but I don't know if it makes you feel better that other people have
No,
too.
it does, but it's just I wanted to let people know.
Crystal! Oh, royalty's
Hi,
in the
Crystal.
house.
Happy birthday to Axel. Her son just turned 1.
Oh my, I cannot believe Crystal, like girl, we have got to get together. I cannot believe you live so close to me and
Yeah,
I
you're both in Florida, right?
right, yeah, and she lives less than half an hour away from me. And we always keep saying we're gonna do something and we never do.
Oh my goodness. Well,
So
you
she is
should.
the reigning Ms. Galaxy, and I actually judged her at uh, I was one of so she's my fault.
I love her. I got to connect with her as a Ms. Obviously followed her journey, but then she said, "Let's do lunch. Can I come too?"
Yeah. But just fly through Miami on your way to
Oh,
Texas. We'll
no big deal.
on the way back, once you have the big crown, guys can share big crowns together.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm excited to meet everyone. But going back to Galaxy, so the areas of competition. So there's interview, there is fashion wear, there's swimwear, and evening gown. And I am so excited to be on stage to be able to do all those things again and to have that interview moment with all the judges. I'm hoping this COVID brain is gone next week so that I can do better in interview. But it's going to be interesting because I'm so used to interviewing people that having to answer questions it will be fun and interesting.
And honestly, like I have found, and it could be just my experience, being an interviewer makes it so much easier for you to feel comfortable with speaking to people and pulling things out of them. So you start to mimic body language that makes people feel safe and comfortable.
Mhm.
And when you do that, the judges mimic that behavior back. So if you are comfortable and you use your hands, I mean, and we're not talking like I mean, I do that.
Hey!
So,
That was us in the beginning.
I, and I don't know. Was it you that asked me? Somebody asked me if I was coming, and I was like, I don't think it was you. Well, I've had a couple people ask, but I was pretty sure it was you. And I was like, I just don't think I can. And then, of course, I went and I looked on at airfare, and I went, oh no, there's not.
Oh no. Well, hopefully you and I can connect in person because you've been on the same journey as you've been on my journey. You were one of the first interviews that I did virtually, and now you're gonna be. Oh my gosh! I just realized I was your last interview with your title was at the sit down. My last interview with this title is your show.
Yeah.
Look at that, full
Mm.
circle.
Hmm. I wonder what that means. So, okay, wait. So, and let's also clarify to everybody. So, in the midst of all of the pandemic, you went from being Ms. Galaxy Canada to Mrs. Galaxy Southern Canada.
Yes.
And I guess some things happened in the midst of
Yes.
the pandemic.
Yes, yes. So right before lockdown, I did get engaged, and so the original plan was okay. We got engaged. When are we going to pick a date? And so the date had always been, well, if for any reason, I go to internationals, I win, I have to give Maria a year. So let's do a 2 year engagement. Well, little did we know this pandemic was going to happen, which lasted the entire engagement. And I ended up getting married 3 weeks ago, almost 3 weeks Saturday. Yeah, 3 weeks
Really?
already. Yeah, we got married
Mrs. Roberts?
yes, yes. So that happened. And so when we do leave for internationals, we'd be married a month. So that's what happened. That's how I went from Ms. to Mrs. all within my reigns.
Yeah, and like to have everything lined up. So you got married a month and then you get right on. I mean, does this end up being your honeymoon? Is that kind of how it works?
No, so we talked about it. We went back and forth. We're like, since we're already going to Texas, should we just do Texas as our honeymoon? Do we go to Mexico since McAllen is right at the border? But we are actually going to Florida in December. We're doing a Disney honeymoon for Christmas. Yeah, so maybe I will see you in Crystal together.
December is my favorite time to go there because it is cooler.
Mhm.
Like, I do not recommend it in July. I was there 4 weeks
Yes, it
weeks
is
ago.
hot in Florida right
It's
now,
really hot.
but
It's hot
Texas is hot
everywhere.
too.
Yeah, no. And McAllen's dry, so it's gonna be like your hair will look good here. It doesn't. So I'm just warning you.
Good to know. Well, I'm glad we're going in December because it'll be winter here in Toronto, but it'll be nicer in
And
Florida.
it'll be way, way, yeah, you'll get here and be like, okay, it could be like 40 degrees, and you'll be like, nope, that's short weather. We're good.
That's all we're packing. No, I'm just kidding.
You should. Lots of bathing suits, lots of shorts. Like, I mean, honestly, in Disney, if you have not been, Disney is it's my favorite place to be. So that
Mhm.
was for me, my last photo shoot, my last official photo shoot was at the Magic Kingdom. I had a private photography session with my crown and the sash with a private photographer,
That's fun.
which if you can do it, it was like the best because those moments to me were like, wait, they stopped people like around me so that you don't have people in the background and
No
stuff.
photo bombers. Oh, I love that.
I was like, okay, sure.
It's like, yeah, move aside. Queen is here.
One little girl walked up to me because we were right in front of where Merida is, and she goes, "Are you Merida?" And I was like,
Oh.
and Merida is they're not doing character meet and greets right now, and I was like, I am. And she's like, I'm from Scotland and you're my queen.
Oh.
And
Did you was she like, why is your hair not curly?
I straightened it. I've got a
It's the
flat.
humidity in Florida.
Exactly. But the mom was just like the mom was like behind. She's like, I said, can I crown you? Would you be my princess? She goes, oh yes. And so like we did the whole thing, and I was like,
Aw.
you know, those are the moments that I think all of us in pageantry have been missing out on is, you know, being that queen and being able to walk, somewhere wearing your crown and your sash and having a little girl look up at you and go, I want to be her when I grow up,
Yeah.
you know?
Exactly. It's so crazy that you say that because I am working on my appearance book, and I was telling Cindy it's so crazy to see all of my in-person appearances and then how I had to pivot and shift into this virtual world. But it's true, like I miss being able to go in person and volunteer in person, MC in person, meet people live and not just virtually. And be like, "Hi, Stacy, nice to meet you."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even with Canada Galaxy Canada, have to get it right. We've judged virtually
Mhm,
because at that point we still, it was, I think the border had just opened where we could actually go back and forth, but it was like so close that it
mhm.
just wasn't going to be, cost effective or time effective. And honestly, I still was at that place where I'm like, I don't know yet.
Yeah,
Um, and it was, I mean, it worked. It was being virtual and still being able to judge and be able to talk to everybody and see what was happening was great. But like, I was jealous of the live judges. I was like, that's not fair. They get to like talk to them and see them and be up close and, and so I feel it like definitely it's, and I would think it has got to be really hard being a title holder for 3 years. Like,
it is, but it's challenging, but it's also rewarding at the same time because you can say, look at all the things that I did during the pandemic. And doing something like my appearance book and seeing all the amazing things that I did with both titles, like I said, I had to learn to pivot and adapt to what was given to me. I mean, the first time you and I spoke was the very beginning of lockdown, and I was just like, oh yeah, this is a time for to relax and to just have a break and reflect on life. We did a lot of reflecting and a lot of healing the world, and now we're just like, let's get out
and
and
we all thought, oh, it's just going to be a couple weeks. It'll be fine.
yeah.
No big deal. Who knew that the whole world would pause and big change?
Hmm.
So how do you think? I mean, I know not everybody pivoted well. So, how do you think that that helped you? I mean, I think that interviewing probably helped you because it helped you be more comfortable with virtual. But
Mhm.
what would have been or is your favorite virtual appearance that you made when you couldn't do in person, and then what has been, that moment live that you just know that you're going to look back at this whole 3 year period and go, yep, that's that minute. So
Yeah, so I guess for me during the pandemic, there was a lot of things that were going on. I mean, the way I viewed life changed. I am a very extroverted, on the go person, and to have to slow down, stay at home, and really reflect on different aspects of my life, my career, what I wanted to do, plan a wedding, all of these things kind of just fell at the same time. And during the pandemic, as many of you know, all around the world, the Asian hate crime rate went up, and my platform changed quickly to be a voice for the voiceless, whether it be for the Black community, the Indigenous community, other Asian communities. And so my favorite appearance that I did, I actually got to do with Nicole Min, our Junior Miss Galaxy International 2022. Together, we hosted a virtual fundraiser. I believe, Stacey, you did donate as
I
well.
did. I did.
You bought
I
raffle tickets.
good. It was like, how do I do it from across the border? But I was like, I need to support,
Mhm.
because I believe in I believe in equality and representation. And I believe very wholeheartedly in what you were doing and being able to hopefully help the Indigenous people in Canada, which I know I was thinking about you the other day when the Pope made his visit, to apologize for things that had happened, with issues. So
Mhm.
anyways, continue.
No worries, no worries. So I was actually able to do a lot of virtual fundraisers and appearances for different communities, which I absolutely love doing. But for that specific one, so the anti-Asian hate crime one with Nicole, we were actually able to put a limelight on small businesses, Asian owned here in Toronto and the Greater Toronto area, but also still raise funds for Eliminate Hate, which is a non for profit organization that does support victims of Asian hate crimes. So that has to be one of my favorite ones. And then doing for during the beginning of the war with Ukraine and Russia, we wanted to give back to those in Ukraine who have been affected by the war. And so I grabbed some of my Galaxy sister queens, the newly crowned 2022 queens, and we also did a virtual bingo night. So that was also very fun. But again, there's nothing this it's not the same as doing an event in person and being together in person. My favorite ones are before lockdown. I think it was November of 2019. I had the opportunity to visit an all girl high school here in Toronto and do workshops with two different classrooms where we talked about self confidence, self love. I didn't want to focus too much on pageants, but still kind of share how pageantry has helped me develop my skills and what those skills were to show them and let them use those skills. It was a great time. It was very interesting. There were a lot of immigrant families, students that were in those classes. So trying to break the language barrier. There were a lot of Filipino students, which also helped because I do speak Tagalog. So I was able to translate everything that I could because I'm not fluent. And just to see how shy all the girls were in the first two classrooms, and then to see them shine by the end of it. I got them to do walks, I got them to pose, I got them to just really self reflect and encourage them to really embrace who they were. And I think those are one of my favorite appearances to date.
That's awesome. And I'm sorry for confusing. I know that you had done another campaign for the Indigenous
I did.
people,
I did.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I was like, that was the one I was thinking about, but I forgot about the anti-Asian, and 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 I knew I donated. Like I know
Yes,
whatever
you
you
did.
do, I'm going to help support you. But and let's talk a little bit about um how the culture has changed with. I mean, I know that there's always been some underlying anti-Asian, set of or mentalities. Um, during World War II, previous to that, there's been issues, and I know that in the United States, it has become extremely like we are very polarized. So I wasn't really aware that it was as strong in other countries as well. So let's talk about how that has changed how you become a voice for the people that can't have a voice, and being that positive role model for them. Because I think that that is super, super important, that not only are there's a representation and that there is someone to be that hero for them and to be that role model for them. But I mean, I, you're beautiful and stunning and amazing. So how could you not be?
No, with the pandemic, you hear it all the time. I think what it is I'm not putting blame on anyone, but there's always that thing that you hear is like the China flu, right? That was one of the big things that came out. And so it wasn't just me, but a lot of my friends as well who are Asian Canadians who had experienced hate. One of my friends in British Columbia got yelled at by someone at Winners, which is, I guess, like Marshall's, TJ Maxx, but
Right.
in
Yeah. Yeah.
Canada. And so she got yelled at and was told to go home and told her to go back to her home country because if it wasn't for her, there wouldn't be COVID. Um, yes. There's
So I didn't realize we had that it was globally. I just thought it was like
No, I think it was just like this underlining idea that it came from China. So anyone who came from Asia, that it's your fault. And so I feel like because there was so much going on, and it is mostly broadcasted from the US with what was happening, with the old elderly Chinese woman in, was it LA that got attacked?
Mhm.
And then the subway in the New York City. So there's all these things that were happening, and it was also happening in Canada, but not on the limelight like it was in the
Right.
US.
Absolutely. Got it.
And so for myself, seeing all that, it really hurt because growing up, I grew up in a predominantly European school from grades, I think grade 2 to grade 6. And so experience racism was real. I mean, I was called Lucy Lou by my photographer. I had no idea that it was yeah, yeah. But as a person in grade or a child in grade 5 being told you look like a celebrity in your head, you're like, oh, that's
Oh,
great.
freckles on it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, and so seeing all the things that were going on in the news, it really brought back a lot of, I don't want to say trauma, but a lot of the bullying that I went through as a kid. And then within the summertime, when things started opening up again, I went to one of the most prestigious areas in Toronto with my best friend, who is also Filipino, only to have experienced Asian hate not once, but twice, all within the same day. And from that moment, I was like, you know what? I need to do something. This is not okay. There were so many bystanders. No one did anything. I need to do something. And there was one of the finalists. I think she was in the junior miss division, Jana, and her and I were talking because I was really upset. And I posted it online, and she reached out to me, and it broke my heart because I was 30 at the time, and Jana was like, let's say, I think
So
12, and I think she was 12, and to see someone her age still go through the same things I went through at her age, I was like, this is not okay. And so from that point on, something just lit under my butt. And I was like, I need to do something. I need to use my platform. I need to change my platform. And I need to be a voice for those like Jana or somebody else that walked through those streets and got wine splashed on them just for being who they are. And that to me was not okay. And of course, seeing all the things with Black Lives Matter, all the things in the news with the Indigenous community, the LGBTQ plus community, I was like, you know what? Let's be a voice for all of these people. Let's stop being a bystander and let's do something about it. And that is kind of where I am, where a lot of, if you look at my appearance book, there's a huge shift from the pandemic on all the things that I was doing and standing up for and promoting. And I'm sure you saw it through my social media as well.
I think it's remarkable. I mean, I don't want I am not proud of the fact that I feel like humanity has taken a step backwards
Mhm.
in many cases. Uh, we seem a whole lot more angry now than we did before the pandemic, and I'm sure that that's just lack of human intervention and interaction. Uh,
Mhm.
but um, and I'm sorry that you had to go through that and you continue to go through that because it's clearly I just think it's fantastic that there's representation and that there are women that look like you and are like you and have the background that you do, that have that voice and are willing to share it, to be that person that stands up and says, "Hey, it's not okay."
Mhm,
And look at me and look at what I can do and look at how I can stand up and be proud of my culture and what I represent.
mhm.
Both Canadian and Filipino.
Exactly. And I think one of the most interesting moments during my reign and doing all of this with my new platform is I was actually invited to join a Let's Chat with the Mayor type of talk. So, the Mayor of Toronto, John Tory, and I had a chance to tell him what I went through as a kid in the city of Toronto and the amount of Asian hate that I received, the amount of racism I received, and what happened in the streets of Toronto last summer, to put it back to him and be like, so what are you going to do about it? And to see or hear the shift in his voice, to know that this is happening in his city, I felt like you felt him get punched in the gut type of thing. Like he was like, whoa, this is happening. Okay, let's do something about it. So being able to have that opportunity because my community knew what my platform was, I'm
Yeah.
so grateful to them to have invited me to that chat, because then I wouldn't have been, what am I going to do? Call the mayor, be like,
I mean,
hey,
hey,
John
can we get
Tory.
together?
Exactly. At least they're like, she's doing something within our community. Let's bring her in. Let's have her talk to him. And so that was one of the greatest moments, I think, so
And
far.
so many more to come, because
Yeah.
let's face it, you are one breath away from being on the stage at Mrs. Galaxy and being able to represent the world.
That's the galaxy. That's wild.
Galaxy. Just think about that. Just think about that. Think about where your journey started in 2010 when you stepped on that first stage, and knowing that you're a breath away from this. Like, you get on an airplane, and I know the other Crystal is already, she leaves tomorrow, I believe.
Mhm.
So yeah.
It's crazy to, like, go through the motion of packing for a pageant. I'm so used to just doing local pageants, so just packing my bags and not worrying about my, what's it called, the weight of my luggage,
Yeah.
not worrying if it's going to get lost somewhere or delays. Like, now I'm just like, oh my gosh, all these things are happening in the world. Like, do I wear a mask still? Like, what is
Right.
happening? How heavy is this dress going to be? Like, there's all these extra added stresses that I'm like, but you know what? It's going to be worth it, because, like you said, I've been on this journey since 2018. We're finally here. It's finally happening. I went from Ms. to Mrs. I cannot wait to
Grow
make
up.
it. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I just can't wait to be in Texas. I've never been to Texas, so I'm
I
excited
love
to.
Texas is awesome. Like, I was Mrs. Texas for four different systems. Like, when I lived everything is bigger in Texas. Like, I know that everybody hears that. It's not what you think it is, like, in any way, shape, or form. So you're gonna get there and be like, but I thought everybody like rode a horse and had a cowboy hat on.
What I see Texas as is Miss Congeniality, Texas.
Yes, to some degree, that is very much. McAllen is more. McAllen is more, I don't want to say more Hispanic, but it is, like, since it's closer to the border.
Mhm.
You've got a more country feel, but it's a Hispanic country, which is like Hispanic
I love
country.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but I love the beauty of it. I love that you're gonna have it, but it's really gonna be hot. So
Oh, that's fine. I cannot wait to go. I have cowboy boots or cowgirl boots. I'm
yeah,
like, do I bring all three pairs that I have, or do
why
I pick
not?
and choose? Great,
When are
my
you gonna do
luggage will be
photo
so
shoots?
heavy.
Oh, that's true. And you've got limits on the bags, so yeah, I would. Well, yeah, that's true. Maybe one. Pick your favorite that
Okay,
looks.
what color should I bring? Should I bring black, pink, or red?
I actually, my brain, and I didn't know what colors you had. My brain went red, but I
It's because we're
black,
seeing a lot of red
yeah,
today.
black or red, black. Yeah, I'm all. But yeah, I would say black is good because then it goes with everything, so you can dress it up, dress it down, depending on what you want. But red will make a statement. So
Mhm.
the pink will make a statement too. But a lot of girls are going to be doing pink. So
I feel like red is like so Canada, which is why I'm thinking.
yeah, I mean, there's that big flag with that red on the outside and that
Hmm.
leaf in the middle. So represent.
That's what I'm here for.
All right. So, what haven't we talked about? You want to share with everybody about your journey and how can they find out more and follow you as you? It's a week from now? Oh my gosh!
Yeah, so we are leaving for McAllen Sunday night, well, Monday morning at like 6 a.m. So we have to be at the airport for 3. So let's just say Sunday, because let's be real, you're not going to sleep. It's going to
Right,
extend. So
right.
we leave for Texas on August 1st, and the final night will be on the 6th. So Saturday, August 6th, in McAllen. I am so excited. Like I said, is there anything you guys don't know about me that I want you to know? I'm not sure. Is there anything you'd like to know about me, Stacy, that you don't know?
How are you going to feel laying on the carpet for that magical photo shoot the day after?
Oh my gosh, you like there's moments where I see that picture and I know UK Galaxy just shared a bunch of recent ones and I get goosebumps thinking about it. Like I know what I'm wearing. So to me, I'm like, how will my gown be? And I've spoken to some of the other girls that I'm close to. I'm not gonna say names, but I've spoken to one of them specifically, and she's like, just imagine us just being there holding hands. Like, where will our crown be? Will they be like on our arms, on our legs, on our
Oh,
head? Will we be like holding our hands? Like, do we like how are we going to intertwine? It's like all these things. And a part of me just wants to lie on my own carpet and just start practicing poses and making sure like the angles are right. And
do you know that I try to do that for real?
like a part of me is just like, do I just lay there and just be like, hi?
Like my photographer and he's like, please stop doing this. Like, there is no reason for you to be laying on the ground. Me
But
taking
it's so iconic.
no. Like and now that there's the part of my brain that's going, but the carpet's not going to be the same.
The carpet's not going to be clean, Stacy.
I know. Well,
But it's going to be worth it.
I
So
know.
you know how Crystal KV has a giant printout? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that is the dream. That is the dreams. Forget my wedding pictures. I will have like pageant pictures.
That it, when it with Diana Lawrence was Mrs. Galaxy 2004, and she's my director, and um, she has her office set up so that her Galaxy crown is on top of a case behind her, and I saw it and I was like, oh, I'm here, like you.
It's stunning. It's such a beautiful crown. It has been my phone background for so long. It's so pretty. I
What's my
I can't wait to see it in person.
Oh my gosh, and it is stunning, like, seriously, legit. I have crown envy. I remember, I mean, I had met Diana, but, her miss, Gina Farrar, is 5 foot, maybe 5 feet tall, and the crown was like a third of her height.
That's cute.
So she was like really adorable in this huge crown. I was like, that is hysterical.
That's so fun. Well, like I see the junior queens, their international crowns. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of our junior international queens. But to see their crowns in person, I'm like, I want one. Like I had FOMO when they went last year. I'm like, I want to
That's not
go.
fair. I know. And you
It's
guys will
fine.
have so much fun. Like it is. I do have to say that it's one of my favorite pageants. I wish I was judging this year, but I think that it's gotten the point and that I know Maria was worried. We had talked at one point, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to fly. And now I know everybody, so it's like
Mm,
I can't. I mean,
conflict,
I
yeah.
could, be honest and not, but I don't think it's in the best interest of everybody. So now I'll just interview everybody and have my friends internationally, and next year definitely I will be there. So.
That just means you have to stop talking to Galaxy Girls so you can become a judge again.
No, I'm a Galaxy girl at heart. Like that's I and I am officially retired from competition. I got the one that was the pre-Galaxy, which means the world to me, and I really love it. And I'm grateful for the year I've had. But my heart is in, giving back to you guys. Like, you guys have your legacies to build, and I think that that's phenomenal. So
Well, thank you for this platform. I know you have another show in a couple of
I know
minutes.
I've got to go. Oh, okay. All right. So, thanks for being on, babe. I just think you're amazing. I want you to have the best time while you're gone. Enjoy every minute of it. Hold hubby. Take lots of pictures. Enjoy
He's
every.
coming.
That's what I'm saying. Hold on to
He
hubby. Like,
surprised me. He's coming.
that's awesome.
Yeah, sorry. But yes.
Oh, and enjoy the white party. Like, the PJ party is so much fun. Like, you're gonna be exhausted, but you're gonna have so much fun in so many minutes that it'll be gone in a blink. So just make sure he's there, like, running film the entire time.
That's what Cindy's for. Don't worry.
Oh, I know. And Cindy's awesome. She's such an amazing person. So you guys are so lucky to have that whole. I mean, Canada has its legacy because of Cindy too. So
Mhm.
she's helped make you all who you are as better people. Hopefully, than when you stepped into this. Like, not that you weren't amazing people when you stepped into it, but I think having her be your leader and really helping you be your best you has been
Mhm.
awesome. So
It's definitely, if you look at me when I first signed up to where I am now, there's a lot of growth there, not just title changes.
hey, the title changes are cool. I mean, and different kinds of title changes. So there you go. All
Exactly.
right. So how do we follow you? What are we going by now?
So I have not legally changed my last name yet, so we'll stay at Regine Semira. You guys can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Mrs. Galaxy Southern Canada 2022. If you'd like more, I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at I don't use Twitter anymore. TikTok, sorry, at It's Regina Elena. You can also follow. I'm on TikTok. You can also follow the pageant sit down. We have taken a little bit of a summer break, but you can also follow the sit down with Scott Dion Brown, where we interview so many people, including Stacy. If you want to see Stacy's interviews with us, just search Stacy Simpson sit down. You'll find the pageant sit down and our sit down.
It pops up in one of the, like, it's like 3 or 4 in the Google searches. I can't believe I actually Google searched myself.
I love that.
All right. I love you. I'm so grateful. I know you're going to have an amazing time, and make memories, bring a crown home, let a girl try it on
I
when
will. I'll bring it to Florida when I see you in December.
Thanks for coming. Hold on for 1 second. Okay, hold on. Stay in the green room for just a second. All right, wrong person. Hi, she's staying here.
Well, first off, before I do go quickly, Stacy, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for being one of my very first interviews during lockdown and now my last before I head off to Texas. I truly appreciate you and all of your support throughout my reign. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. So thank you so much. Okay. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna cry. I can't cry now. Okay.
No, you still have another show.
I know. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I am so grateful. Thanks, Regine, for everything that you've done for me, for us being on the show, being part of the people that make hopefully the show successful. I'm grateful to all of the viewers that follow us, our crownies. Again, I can have these amazing conversations with all these fantastic people, but it means more when you're there and you're part of it. So thanks to everybody. I appreciate it. Make sure if you haven't already, that you like, subscribe, and follow at Pageantry Now. And then, as Regine said, in a little bit of like a half an hour, we will have another show. So look for that. And I'll see you guys later. Have a great night. Stay safe.